Welcome everybody to Command Combat Battle Reports, and today we have another game of Legion. This time we're doing it on Tabletop Simulator, because they have some units that aren't quite released yet. We thought it'd be interesting to preview some of those units, so we put them into these armies, and we're gonna see how they do. Let's check those armies out. On one side, of course, we have the Imperials. You'll notice that their bases match the board. That's one of the neat aspects of this Tabletop Simulator version. They're being led by none other than Darth Vader, who has Saber Throw, Force Choke, and Force Reflexes. They've got 3 units of Snow Troopers, who in this case are more like Volcanic Troopers. I kinda read the Snow Trooper units as being like Stormtroopers with environment suits. 2 of them have flamethrowers, and 1 has the T7 Ion Stormtrooper. All 3 of them are led by Imperial officers, who come with Inspire 1 attached to them. They also have the E-Web Heavy Blaster team. These guys have plotting, so they're slow to move, but they can pivot real fast, and they do a lot of damage when they hit. You also have a unit of speeder bikes, and some scout troopers to go along with them. And here you have the rebel side. They've got 8 units total. They're being led by Han Solo, who's actually been released by this point. But the ones who haven't been released yet, we really can't see their cards. So he'll be leading this army. As always, he has his trusty friend Chewbacca along with him, who's got tenacity and he's a hunter. They have 2 units of rebel troopers, and 1 unit of fleet troopers, each with a different type of support unit. They've got rebel commandos, who are coming with duck and cover, HQ link, proton charge saboteur, concussion grenades, and emergency stems. They're a fun one to watch, so take a look for them on the field. And we have Wookiee warriors, who come with hunter, bowcaster, impact grenades, and tenacity, and a 1.4 FD laser cannon team. They can't move, but again, they do a lot of damage. They've also got an overcharger. And here's going to be the scenario for today. Their objective is breakthrough, so they're all trying to get into each other's deployment zones. And that'll make it very interesting because the deployment is disarray, so they all have units on different corners. And they're getting rapid reinforcements, which will allow them to place new units on the board as it goes along. Nobody chooses to use the rapid reinforcements, however, as all the units get placed onto the board. The Imperial side has placed 2 units of Snow Troopers up here on the top right, along with the E-Web Engineer. On the bottom left, they have Snow Troopers behind a group of crates in a defensive position, while the speeder bikes are set up to move directly north. You'll notice that the Scout Troopers are a little bit outside of the deployment zone, inside of a crater. That's because they get an initial move during deployment. The Rebels get that too, with the Commandos, who are here on the bottom right, outside their deployment zone, already heading towards the blue zone on their left. Backing them up are Fleet Troopers, and behind them is the big gun, which is pointed northward. They also have some regular infantry over on the right side. In the top left deployment zone, they have both Han and Chewie, along with Chewie's buddies from Life Day, a unit of Wookiees. They're all facing southward, except for 1 unit of troopers who are looking eastward toward all of those Snow Troopers. Alright, everybody set up? Let's see how the game goes. They both begin with standing orders, so neither one is really pushing that hard yet. The E-Web engineers begin this by moving up into the crater and putting themselves into standby. They and the Rebel Big Gun are able to fire at a further distance than most troopers on standby. The commandos creep forward toward the Snow Troopers, taking some cover along the way. Lord Vader, now with a blue lightsaber for some reason, crosses the lava, taking no damage along the way, just like Lord Vader. Some lords walk on water, he walks on lava. The Rebel troopers move up towards the E-Web Engineer, and Vader is followed by his Snow Troopers. The large gun fires, getting a lot of hits, and damaging the E-Web Engineers. They fire back, doing a little bit more damage to the large gun. Han creeps up, followed by his buddy Chewie, and the speeder bikes rush forward, firing at the Rebel troopers, taking down one of them. First blood has been shed. The Fleet Troopers move forward and take some cover, and Snow Troopers take cover in the crater next to the E-Web. And now the Wookiees have leaped forward and are jumping on the speeder bikes! And in true Wookiee fashion, they grab it out of the sky and smash it onto the ground, stomping on the corpse. They may be getting second blood, but it is some massive damage. The Rebel troopers are following them up, crossing over the bridge behind them. And here's a view of the battlefield after turn 1. The Rebels are creeping forward on both sides, while the Empire is mostly taking defensive positions, except for Lord Vader, who is crossing over the lava river, heading towards the Rebels who are already running from him. Vader's saying, "Yeah, you better run." but it is not hard to get away from him because he is very slow. Alright, on to the next turn. The Imperials play Assault, and the Rebels play Sorry About the Mess. Han obviously shoots first, because who in their right mind would not have Han Solo shoot first? I mean, that would give Han the ability to move, but instead he plays his improvised orders, giving his order instead to the Wookiees, who charge at the other speeder bike, jumping on it, and smashing it. That speeder bike had an order to get out of there, but he didn't have a chance. They were on him immediately like fleas on a dog. He has been ripped apart, screaming the Wilhelm scream, as he explodes with his bike. Wookiees had charge, so that was only one action, so they used their second action to get behind the wall. The troopers, seeing their buddies destroyed, are none too happy, so they take aim and stand by, just waiting for anybody to come at them. The large gun fires and takes out the E-Web engineers. This was the other unit that had orders from the Empire, and they didn't get a chance to use it. They were already blown out. The Empire has little choice but to give an order to some of their troopers inside of a crater, and they fire at the rebel troopers out in the open, killing 2 of them. Vader and his troopers move slowly forward, heading towards their destination, and the rebel troopers continue to move away from them, crossing over the bridge. This is what it looks like at the end of the turn. The Empire has stalled its advance on the left, taking defensive positions against the rebels coming in on both sides. Over on the right, Vader is leading a force towards the left, while his other troopers are doing some damage from the craters. On to the next turn, and Han plays Reckless Diversion, while Vader plays Implacable. And Vader implacably continues forward, taking his order token back so he can keep on moving. And now the Wookiees rush forward into the crater, jumping down on the Imperial scouts. As per usual, they just rip them apart. There is still 1 scout trooper surviving, but it looks like he's half buried inside of the Wookiee. I don't know if he's going to survive long with that stench, especially under the arm like that. Yeesh! Imperial troopers on the other side fire at the rebels, and they fire like true stormtroopers. Even with an aim, they do not get a single hit. Those same rebels fire back, and they don't miss, taking out 2 of the Imperial troopers. On the other side, the troopers who are taking defensive positions fire at the Wookiees, throwing a flame trooper into it. That catches the Wookiee fur on fire, and they are burned to death, howling as they go. The rebel large gun fires but doesn't do any damage. And now here come the rebel commandos. They were just waiting for the Imperial troopers to look away, and now they're going at them. You can see 1 Imperial trooper looking back at them going, guys, somebody coming up and knocking. And now Chewbacca rushes forward into that crater, taking out the last of the Imperial scouts. He brings with him his buddy Han Solo, who takes all the credit. And now here's how the battlefield looks. Up on the top, Darth Vader and his troops continue to march slowly across the field to take one of the rebel deployment zones. The Imperials are not having much luck on their other sides though, with their scout troopers now completely gone, and their remaining troopers surrounded on both sides, while on the other side there's only 1 snowtrooper left. Only one thing to do? The Imperials play ambush so that they can go first, but Han makes them change that with the change of plans. It's okay though because they just put in push, meaning they're still gonna go first. They use that to fire at the commandos, who voluntarily take a suppression token, meaning it's gonna be a little harder to hit them, but they still get hit, taking 2 casualties. They use the emergency stims on them, so those 2 units are back up, ready to fight for 1 more turn. The rebel troopers on the other side fire, and they take down the remaining Imperials on that side. That deployment zone is completely open to them now. The last remaining Wookiee rushes forward, and doesn't do a thing to the Imperials. Apparently it is an air Wookiee! That's okay, however, because the commandos come rushing forward, taking on the Imperials hand to hand. The troopers come in too, as well as Chewbacca, who single-handedly smashes 2 of their heads together, killing them off. It's a big clusterfudge over there, as all the rebel troopers are inside that deployment zone, finishing off the Imperial troopers there. Vader and his forces continued to slowly move across the board at the top, but he's so slow that he's taking the whole game to get across. On this next turn, the rebels take ambush so they can move forward, and Vader takes new ways to motivate them. He needs to motivate these troopers to make one last stand. The rebel troopers attack, choosing to have Chewbacca fight first, and once again he takes 2 of their heads and smashes them together, killing them in the most graphic way possible. The Imperials fight back but don't accomplish anything, and the rebel troopers come forward, killing off the last Imperial trooper. And then the commandos finish off the Imperial officer. On the other side, the fleet troopers start moving forward, and the standard rebel troopers rush into the Imperial deployment zone. Between them and the Horde on the other side, it looks like the rebels are going to take this. Darth Vader is still moving forward, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it in time to take on Han and all of his rogues. His snowtroopers have started to move back toward the rebels taking the objective on the other side, but even if they get there, they're not going to do very much damage. Certainly not enough to win this scenario, and so the players have called it. The Imperial player has conceded, not because Vader couldn't kill everybody in front of him, but because he's simply not going to catch them before the game ends. And so this game ends with a Rebel victory. Congratulations to the player, and we hope you all enjoyed it. You'll be able to find all these expansions as they come out over the next couple months. We'll be getting them and using them as miniatures in future battle reports, and as part of the massive Star Wars story that'll be happening with RPG Storytime next year. We hope you'll join us, and in the meantime, thanks for watching, be sure to subscribe, and happy gaming everybody! We hope you enjoyed this battle report. Click on the link to the right to see more videos by us. Also, you'll find links in the description, including a place that you can support us on Patreon, as well as a sci-fi book which is a sort of a mixture of Star Wars and Indiana Jones. It's written by me, so any purchases go towards supporting this channel. Be sure to like the video and share it with your friends, as well as subscribe and ring our bell. Thanks for joining us, and happy gaming everybody!